Good afternoon. Pete Wildebohr. Melissa Mason.
Here.
Josie Barnhart.
Here.
Pat Bradford.
I am present.
Judy Justice.
Present.
Dr. Tim Merrick.
I'm here.
And David Perry.
Here.
All right. Again, welcome to everyone, and welcome to all those that are watching. And our big audience out there, hello, hello. At this point, we will have our invocation, which will be provided for us remotely by Christian Rutherford, and then the pledge will be led by Jack.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to open today's meeting in a prayer. My name is Christian Rutherford, and I am the youth pastor at Harbor United Methodist Church, as well as one of the pastors of Surf Church here in Wilmington. Let us pray. Jesus, we thank you so much for this day and this opportunity for us to gather together in this space. We ask that you would give us the wisdom and the discernment that we need to make critical decisions that are going to impact the lives of our children and our youth in this city. Keep our hearts open and our minds open to being receptive. Give us grace where we need to be given grace, and just allow this meeting to move with fluidity and at peace. Lord, we just love you. We thank you for everything that you're doing and the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Jump right in with approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. Any discussion? Doctor, I see you. Look at it. This is good. I like this. All right, Dr. Merrick.
I noticed that we have something on the list for new business that was submitted to us on February 17th, which is 4 days beyond our limit for submissions. And besides, I also believe that it's something that our superintendent has already addressed quite effectively. So I'm not quite sure why it's on our agenda.
Okay, but that's not for today's agenda. So if you want to talk about it.
Oh, I see. We're talking about our
We're
agenda
talking about
today.
Just today's agenda at this point?
Mr. Chairman, I have no complaints about today's agenda.
Okay, thank you, sir. And we'll definitely talk about that when we get to next week.
Yep.
So we have a first and second. Is there any discussion? Sir.
I texted you guys yesterday, there's something I'd like to add. I forgot to talk about.
Okay.
I've been in conversation with a group called Life Wise.
He's not on. You're not on.
You know, sir?
Hello. There's a the community group called LifeWise that has been in communication with me, and I'd like to bring the board up to speed about it to see whether I want to pursue looking at MOU with it.
Okay.
So if we could add it, if that would be all right. If not, it can obviously wait till next week if it needs to.
Likewise, under new business?
I would move that.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a
Second.
second? I heard second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adding LifeWise under new business for today's agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, like sign. That passes 7-0. We'll go ahead and add that.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. We need a motion to now approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. Merrick, we have a
Second.
second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the amended agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Passes again 7-0. The next section we'll get into, right before we get into talking about next week's meeting, or next week, 2 weeks, get it right, 2 weeks from today's meeting. And I brought this up because I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. We did agree to, we've already voted to move our meetings from 4 hours to 3.5 hours. But I do want to remind everyone, and I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm asking you to be very aware of being thoughtful and aware of the times we establish an agenda review. You think about it, if we say, hey, we're going to do 5 minutes, then we need to, try our best to stick to 5 minutes. And 5 minutes would not give anyone very much time to speak at all. You know, if everyone speaks for 1 minute, of course, that would be 7 minutes. If everyone wants to speak for 2 minutes, probably with the changeover times and stuff, that's 15 minutes. Please also be aware that if we want to say, well, can I ask Dr. Barnes or attorney something? Absolutely, I'm not telling you can't do that, 100%. But if we have allotted 15 minutes, then you have 2 minutes. And if you want to give a minute of your time to someone to do that, that's absolutely 100% okay. But again, we don't have extra time to do that at the end. And again, please be careful of adding time to discussions. If you think about it, under a former chair, we had several times where even at a 4-hour meeting, we had to add time and time again. So just be careful of that. And that's why I wanted to put this before we review the proposed agenda items so that we can actually say, okay, well, yeah, maybe we needed to go 15 minutes for that, or maybe we need to go 10 minutes. We are going to try to put, we have it, actually, no, we're not going to try to do it. Yes, Ms. Bowie, and it gets done already. Thank you so much. But we're going to have that up there, so we'll say, if we have allotted 10 minutes for the time, you'll have it right there, so you can see that we have 10 minutes and the time down, so it won't be somebody, how much time do we have left, how much time do we have left? Yes, ma'am?
What do you mean by what, right there? So you're gonna put it on the board?
No,
or-
it's right here. The clock's right here.
Wow.
That's a clock, yeah.
That
It
is?
looks like black to me. Is there numbers on it?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
no, not yet, not yet. But I mean, for in 2 weeks.
Like
we'll
horse races?
Yeah, right, it'll be counted down, so if we say, we're gonna spend 15 minutes on this topic, 15 minutes will be put up there, and so it'll be a visual, so we won't have to say, well, everybody, watch your watches and stuff, that kind of stuff. Our vice chair will, divide the time up, kind of like she does for call to audience and help out with that. And again, I think we knew this already, I get you, that, no one can speak a second time before anyone has an opportunity to speak. That's just normal Robert's rules things. Dr. Merritt.
I just want to reiterate, when we had this discussion earlier, we did talk that we are going to try to keep it to 3.5 hours, which I think is great. But we do have the ability, if we choose, to go over that. And so I just want to make sure that we all know that we're not going to stop talking about something that's very important. If we need to go over 3.5 hours, we will.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's what I said, we can add time, absolutely, 100%. So anyway, I just wanted to put that before, just a reminder as we get into our next thing, which is going through the review of proposed items. So we have that in front of you on the pink sheet. And I'm sorry, I forgot to ask, Ms. Mason, would you keep up with our time, please? Thank you very much. And we'll go through, and Dr. Merrick, you've already noticed something, and I will say on the front end that I did not realize it was brought in after time, so that's my fault, 100%. I did not realize that, but we will talk about that when we get there. Okay, call to order, roll call, invocation, presentation of colors, national anthem, pledge of allegiance. Who would like to do the pledge this month?
Okay.
Mr. Perry? Okay. Mr. Perry, okay. We'll have the approval of the minutes. Committee reports. Now, this is something that Dr. Merrick brought up. I think it's a great idea. Oh, one thing I wanted to say before, too. Ms. Mason enlightened me to something that I did not know, and it was really, really, really great. And I meant to mention it when we were talking about the length of board meetings. But there is a statewide group, the NCSBA puts it together. It's the chairs, vice chairs of all the various school districts in the state. We get together virtually and once a month and talk about things. And we had two major topics that we were kind of part of. One was budget. The other one was length of time of these things. And it was interesting. We had quite a wide variety. One gentleman actually from the mountains shared with us that his board meetings are 20 minutes. They're 20 minutes. And he didn't say it was good. He said, I'm not saying they're good, but we come in, we do all our committee meets stuff before. We come in, all we do is, there's no discussion, we vote. Vote, 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 and we're done. Yes, ma'am.
I'd love to see what size the school district is.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And we had some other ones that said, a lot of them, I would say, said they were about 2 hours. They only had about a half-hour call to audience, so that was a little bit different. But, but they had, about 2 hours. So I'm not saying, we can, keep, doing that, especially if we can get the committee reports to do a lot of, a lot of that stuff could be just informational and we just move forward with it and stuff. So that was a great idea. But how long do you think we need, Dr. Merrick, what do you think for committee reports?
It's a good question. Being that I'm not on all the committees, I'd have a hard time answering that.
Well, go ahead.
I think a standing 10 minutes, Mr. Chair, would be sufficient, and then as committees meet, because some meet monthly, some meet quarterly, some are liaison positions, so sometimes there's not things to share out, so I think a standing 10 minutes would suffice.
10 minutes? Yes, Ms. Bradford?
I'll have curriculum and finance.
Okay, and we'll have Legion, and I'm sure, Ms. Justice?
Well, I'm just thinking through the years, 5 minutes could almost do it, unless, but then you've got something like finance that might affect the whole board, might be longer.
So just a
5 to
standing
10 minutes?
Yeah.
A
Well,
standing 10, I think would be.
well, again, I think maybe if we stay longer, then at the end, if we have to, we can say, well, we're.
There you go.
over.
Yep.
I think in the very earliest times, since we've not been empowering this structure, it will be shorter. Perhaps in the future, when more work does get done in the committees and we simply bring it to the full board for approval, that might take longer, but then other things would be shorter.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'm hearing 10 minutes. Everybody good with that? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
We'll see, well, you know, like I said, we can see, and as Dr. Merrick mentioned already, if we need to, we can always add time at the end, or at that point, so. Recognitions, 10 minutes? No? 20 minutes. 20 minutes, I like
I
that.
did put a cap on March, and I started adding to April now,
Oh.
just letting you know.
Very good. Classified employee recognition.
Taylor, do we
Taylor?
have that this month, classified?
Yes, we have the classified.
How long? March.
Yes.
And how long do you think?
Oh, I'm sorry. We have two, so probably 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Perfect, thank you. Administrative, Ms. back there, Ms. Geller. Okay. Let's say 3. 5. 5 is even better. 5 minutes, to be sure. People get up and down. Teacher voice, we have 10 minutes. Superintendent's report, 5 minutes, sir?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I will also get mine done in 5. Information, we don't have anything there. Call to audience is 60 minutes. Consensus items, we have a lot of 10 minutes, but let's go through, yes, ma'am. Ms. Varno?
Can I circle back, right around March teacher voice? I want to make sure we add a student voice as well.
Good,
Yes,
Yay.
good, glad.
Yay. And
I'm-
I have students ready for March, April, and May.
Hey,
Okay. And I think we typically do that, I'm looking around to see if anybody
They're
remember,
now
we always do that
14.
before teacher, don't we? Isn't student before teacher?
It's always been one or the other, so either one.
But since it's a new thing we're so excited about, let's put them first.
Thank you.
Let's go with student first, and that's also 10, is that correct? Is that what we tell them, 10 minutes? Student voice is back, 10 minutes, all right. And then we have teacher voice, thank you for bringing it up, Ms. Varner, appreciate that. Okay, back on page 2, consensus items. We have allotted, at this point, 10 minutes, but is there any questions we could go through now that may keep that to 10 minutes? We have an amendment for IntelliChoice contract for one-to-one nursing. Anybody?
I saw a hand over there about.
No?
No, not for this one. I do have, I thought you were saying consensus as a whole. I do have a question. though.
Okay. Contract with DSI for access points. Sure, I miss anybody? You're dancing over here. AT&T WAN, wide area network contract extension. Is that Mr. Perry?
Is this for additional WAN hardware, or is this just the agreement for servicing?
It's just extending the agreement for the circuits.
Oh, they holding up.
Fine, we just actually put them in like, that's why we're extending this one. It was a 3-year contract, and it took time to get those circuits done. So we're doing well.
Thank you.
Good question. Okay, Encora Publishing Champs Training. Not seeing anybody's hand up, okay. Disposal of surplus property. Yes, ma'am?
May I ask a clarifying question with this one?
Sure.
Are our staff allowed to bid on surplus property that we sell? And if not, is that something we could reconsider, allowing them to purchase stuff that we don't need anymore?
There is a law to that. Ashley, do you know off the top of your head?
The concern is you wouldn't want staff who are disposing of the property to turn right around and purchase it. So that's the reason that law's in place, so we don't allow staff to purchase from the
Okay, so it's a law.
sale.
Okay,
Well,
thank you, that was just the clarity.
Yeah.
That's a great question, but I mean, it's, you know, it is like, oh, this computer's no good anymore, I'm gonna get rid of it, and then I'm gonna go buy it, you know, see, that would be kind of
I mean,
a little problematic at times. Okay. The 2025 financial audit contract? Boy, I tell ya. See, now I'm back in Florida, I'm doing a lot of stretching here. Contracts going into fiscal year 2027? Nope. And curriculum course guide updates. Ms. Barnhart.
thank you. I like seeing new courses be added. I did have a question. When it comes to weighted courses, how does the district allow that to happen so that we have, I mean, I know even AP, IB, honors are different. So can you talk about that process when new courses are created? How are we making sure we're adding enough weighted courses at all of our high schools? Thank you.
And I'll let Robin answer in full, but some of it depends on the complexity of the course. And also, we also get guidance from the state on which levels are AP, honors, and regular. So do you want to expound on that?
That's all true. Is your question the determination of the weight, or is your question, are we adding additional weighted courses intentionally? So to answer that second, when we are adding something, because we're not redoing the whole course guide right now, right? This is just additions. Just if there is an area of interest and enough interest to make a class, maybe somewhere would be the only reason that we would add. So whether that falls into the definition of a weighted course or a non-heavily weighted course, that is just based on the interest when we're adding something outside the regular rotation of course curriculum guidelines.
Okay, and I guess mine comes more in the question of when we have additional courses that are, okay, let's say weightlifting or music, right? Some of these honors courses of an extracurricular of when, do all of our high schools have that opportunity of weighted courses for extracurriculars like that? Or is that something we'd have to look at a little bit further?
So the course is as it is in the course catalog.
Yes,
Whether or
ma'am.
not the course is offered at a high school, we might have it in our catalog and it's not offered
Gotcha.
because there is not enough there are not enough students
Okay.
to warrant the use of a teacher for that. Sometimes those can also be, if we don't have enough students and a student has an interest, those can sometimes be addressed through NCDPS or through CCP.
Because obviously, when you see that curriculum guide, there's a lot of offerings in it. However, the high school can't diversify that much. Class sizes are also an important thing. So usually if a class doesn't have a minimum number of students who are going to take it, it's either going to get offered less often, or it's not going to get offered at all, maybe every other year or something like that. Journalism is a good example. Sometimes journalism makes, nothing personal. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the number of kids who are interested in taking it. Same things with something like we offer French, we offer Spanish, but if I want to take German or I want to take Russian, there's just not enough of that to create a whole class. Those kids are usually farmed out to VPS, which is virtual public schools.
Yeah, thank you.
Mason and Dr. Merritt?
I just want to say I'm super duper excited to see American Sign Language down there. My deaf education heart just, woo! And I love that there's enough interest for our kids that they want to learn American Sign Language. So, yay!
American and Respect.
I will echo the sentiments of my colleague to the left. Anytime that we bring on another language, we learn it in reference to our own language. And so anytime we learn language, we learn more about English. It's our primary language. I do just have to bring in that I noticed that there was an attempt to bring, I think it was Arabic, into the curriculum, and that was voted down or sent over to virtual.
It was sent over to virtual.
Okay, is it ever, offered in the curriculum guide and seen if enough kids want to take it?
It's not usually, I think it's in the curriculum guide, but it's under a VPS course. Usually, we just don't have enough of a preponderance of kids who are taking that class.
I mean, one of the things I'm so excited about the American Sign Language is that it creates inclusion. These kids that are deaf get a chance to be part of the crowd, right? But also, I would say the same thing about anyone who speaks Arabic. And so, I don't know how many of our students, probably not many, as there probably are not that many deaf students, right? Is American Sign Language something that could be taught virtually? I wouldn't think it would be easy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I generally appreciate that. But I'm just, for the people watching this, for the people out there who wanted Arabic, for instance, or some other language, it could seem like we're playing favorites. And I just, I think we have to address that.
Mr. Perry and Jeff.
So, yeah, my question is, do we have a lot of these courses, optional courses that are in there that, like you say, there isn't enough interest to have it at this school or that school? So by adding it here, we're just adding it to the offerings, but we have no guarantee that it's actually going to be filled or taught at every school or anything else. So am I correct in this? And my question is I'd love to have as many of these as people are interested in, but it seems like adding a bunch of courses to our course guide without determining first whether there is interest or not. Maybe do you do surveys of parents to figure out, or students to figure out, what kind of classes would you like to see added, so that we're not just putting our course guide for courses that we may never teach.
Well, maybe, Ms. Hamilton, if you actually, Dr. Hamilton, sorry, if you'll maybe kind of comment on both those questions.
I may have missed the first one. I was looking in the course guide for Arabic. But anyway, it is offered through NCVPS is where that is offered through. The next question was about courses being added. So we do not add a course. It could be a course that's available through the state with a course code, but we don't add it to our course guide unless there is enough in student interest to warrant the addition of that.
I guess.
How is that determined? How is that determined?
Well, like for instance, with American Sign Language, Dr. Edge, who is the supervisor over the secondary counselors, she polled the secondary counselors who spoke to students and things of that nature to get interest. And actually all 4 high schools had interest in that. So we don't have a course guide for different high schools. We have one course guide that serves the entire district. So for instance, there may be more of an interest like in public service or firefighting or something like that at one school, but not others. So we do have to have that in our course guide so that that one school could offer that.
But student interest drives the course schedule at each school.
And just to ask, kind of what Dr. and I'm going to.
Would he repeat his question, please?
Would you mind repeating the question? No, that'd be better than me saying it.
I noticed that we did not put Arabic on as a potential course in real time. We said, well, we'll let people go virtually if they want to learn that. But we're talking about bringing American Sign Language in real time. I'd like to see them all, and then again, like you said, interest will drive. But I noticed that we just didn't put Arabic in as a.
So that was one school only, and I think there were only 3 or 4 children who were interested in that at the time, and we have not had a request to revisit that to have enough interest in that. And since it was only a handful of children, we don't have the teaching staff, so we routed them and served those children through NCVPS.
That makes perfect sense. I did not have that data. I just don't want the public to think that we offer to one group but not another. We are inclusive of everyone.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Ms. Justice, I didn't forget you.
That's all right, she answered everything.
Oh.
I was already aware of this, you know how this works.
Okay.
But we are such professionals. Our guidance counselors got their palm or their thumb or whatever it is on our students' needs, and it does vary from year to year, but there is a certain consistency into it. And actually, American Sign Language has always been very popular with children. I can remember back 20, 30, 40 years. It's just something that kids are interested in. But I was just going to reiterate what she said. So.
And I was gonna say one quick thing, just on that whole thing. I still remember when I first learned sign language, and I definitely don't know as much as you do, but we went to a theme park, and my wife and I, my girlfriend at the time, but we were talking back and forth, and there was a whole school of deaf children there. And I mean, that was better for them. I mean, really, the response we got, they wanted to be on every ride with us. They were so excited. You know, it just really warmed our heart. So, this warmed heart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this, I think this pertains to this, but it's more a question. I know during COVID, the district offered virtual classes, like New Hanover County Schools did, and we would still receive that ADM. And so I understand if we don't have the staff capacity to say, let's do it to the virtual program for the state, but is there a potential opportunity for us to offer a virtual course through New Hanover County Schools that we could capitalize on the ADM, but actually the students would not physically be in a building? I don't know. That might need to be more information before we can answer that, but I think it is a good question for us to consider.
Do you want to tackle that?
I'll start and then you can pick up. So quite a few years ago, I would say 7, 8, 9 years ago, we did have a virtual academy, and then that has gone away. It was housed at Mosley. That has since gone away. So we are in the top 5 in the state on use of North Carolina Virtual Public School. We have a few children who are 100% in CVPS. Those children are like acting in a Broadway play in New York, professional surfer in Hawaii, those kinds of things. Those children are permitted 4 semesters throughout their high school career to be totally virtual during that time. Then we have other times that are not that extensive, where children get a 1 semester max, and that's like if they have some kind of like health issue and they have an extended hospital stay, something of that nature, that we do permit that. We do buy 5 extra licenses through Imagine Learning each year. So if something happens, maybe it's February the 24th, and I'm a senior, and all of a sudden we just found out that I had not had Math 4 for some reason, that we can do that virtual for that child to make sure that they catch up and it doesn't hinder their graduation or anything like that. So again, we're one of the top 5 in the state uses in NCVPS, and so it really does sort of, and we do address the needs of those specific and unique situations. And yes, we do. Yes, we do.
But the state also has some very serious restrictions on virtual academies as well that limits our ability to do some of that.
Okay. It's mere curiosity, so appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Anything else? No? All right, we will carry on then. Old business, modification of previously approved facility capital budget transfer based on, oh, do we still need 10 minutes? Thank you. Why did I keep me straight? Do we still need 10 minutes, you think?
I don't think so.
Maybe- Let's go to 5. Let's do 5, just in case. All right, so move that to 5. Perfect. All right, nothing under policy, Madam Policy Chair? No, nothing under? Next week, okay. Next month, okay. All right, then we go on to old business, modification of previously approved facility capital budget transfer based on county action.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes. Well,
What do you want to do a report first? Is that okay?
well, do we want to share? Do you want to share?
We can certainly share it now if you want to.
Why don't we go ahead and share, and then we can ask questions, and, yep, and then we'll share it even more.
Please include the why.
What?
The why.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I can share what was shared with me. So as you guys remember, at last board meeting, we brought forth a budget amendment requesting to move project savings from capital to fund additional projects. And so we're required per board policy and general statute to carry those to the county commissioners for approval as well. So one of those got approved, but this second one that I have listed here, which was a savings from the New Hanover High School structural repair project of the $1.3 million, they did not approve for us to reallocate those savings to fund those next two projects. And so we will be including that underground storage tank replacement. That'll be part of our capital request that you'll see in the next couple of months. So we'll add it to next year's capital. And you help me, Rob, if I say this incorrectly, but my understanding is the county manager did not recommend approving that budget transfer because they had funded that project with their fund balance, and so they wanted to put that money back into their fund balance. This was no longer an emergency situation.
Right. So, I understand the difference, right? Because general fund money, it's already been spent there, and now they can turn around, and when we say, well, we need 1.3 million to redo this underground storage tank, they can take that as part of their overall of what they're going to give us this year, right? But
Yeah.
my question was before, and I don't need to answer, is when will we get funding for that? Because I don't think we just decided to do that, because who would be, we have a 1.3 million. I assume that we did that because it needs to get done.
Yeah, it is a project that we've deferred a couple of times because some emergency things were happening at New Hanover and some other things. So we definitely need to get that done, but it would be part of the capital request, which means assuming that it's funded, the funding for that project wouldn't be available till July.
Barry?
Are there any, you can inform me, and the public as well, because I don't understand these matters as nearly as well as you or others in the room. What you're saying is that because this is a capital project, but it's coming from the regular fund balance, that we can't use it for that. Are there any other things that we could use it for? I'm sure we have non-capital.
This wasn't our fund balance money, it was the county's. So the issue of whether or not we could have it for something else really didn't get explored. We asked for it for
I'm
this.
thinking pre-K, things like that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to point out, this is because we had a savings. We were on time and under budget. I like to say that phrase, Dr. Morgan, you know. So we had a savings in our projects that we did. And so what we said was, let's keep going down the list. But by law, we have to get permission before we can do that because it was already allocated to this project. But because we are operating with awesome diligence in our budget, we were able to save $1.3 million. So we did our job very well. And so by law, we have to go back to the county. So this is not as something that just didn't get done. This was something we were hoping to do in addition to all the rest of the things that we did.
Almost feels like being punished for doing the right thing.
Oh,
but-
exactly.
But that's not what I'm saying. I don't want people to forget that we were forced to eliminate our fund balance. We had a lot in there during the situation with COVID by the county commissioners. They told us we had to spend it down and that they would make up for the problem. That is not an example of them not doing what, in my opinion, they said they would do. We should be able to use that for our schools, in my opinion, because we have, no longer have the fund, and we had a real healthy one.
So I understand that they want the money to go back into the fund balance, but they did promise us if we had a need that was capital related outside of the capital process, that we could come to them. So is there a reason why we can't just submit that request for the Winter Park underground tank and the winter ground lift station now? Because obviously, let's say in, a month and a half, we ask them for, let's be nice, $10 million worth of capital improvements. That would just be taking 1.3 off of what we need now, and that one's on an old balance sheet for capital improvement. Why can't we ask them now to fund that one out of general fund or wherever? obviously I understand the fund balance issue.
I mean, we certainly can submit a request, and if that's the will of the board, we could go ahead and submit some capital items early in advance of the capital request for next year.
They did promise that if we had a capital need that popped up, that they would help us with it, and I think an underground storage tank and a lift station at Winter Park is pretty important.
I'm going to ask Dr. Morgan, I just remember in the Castlehane, Whitesboro area, that there was a gas station that had a underground tank that leaked, and it was, it cost millions and millions of dollars because people were, contaminated water, et cetera.
Yeah, we're not thinking about that. We don't want that to happen.
Well, that's
We
exactly
don't
what I'm
wanna
saying.
get to that
We don't want to get to
point.
that point. Are we anywhere near that? So I guess my question. Where it's dangerous.
I'll be honest, I don't think I can say with certainty that we're close to that it's inspected annually. I think the concern is that, given the life expectancy of those tanks, we're beyond that. We were, I think, 3 years ago when it was first broached, we were approaching that then. We've continued to inspect it as it's required, but I do think that's a concern. I think that's a concern. Dr. Barnes.
Lawrence.
Just in regards to going back and asking them for this money now, when Dr. Morgan went to the commissioners, our statement was, we know that you had talked about coming back to the county commission when we had utilized all the money that you had given us for capital. We're here to update you, to share with you the amount of money that we saved. And our statement was, rather than ask you for additional funding in the capital, we'd like to repurpose this money for these purposes. I don't know as if going back again and saying, now here are new requests. I think the implication was that we were saying, rather than ask you for more capital, we're asking you to use these savings for this purpose. So I don't know as if that wouldn't be sort of grounding around the same ground again. Also, we are in the process of building our capital request for next year. I don't know as if saying, hey, we want to get 1 million or 2 million now, wouldn't then just reverb us to getting less capital funding in July. I can't speak for the commissioners, I can speak for you guys, but I think the implication was, we were saying, rather than asking for more money, here's what we wanted to do with the money that we saved. Is that accurate, sir?
Yes. I think that's how we presented it when we submitted the information to their CFO. I didn't have the chance to speak at the county commissioners meeting.
Oh, that's right, correct. I'm sorry.
But that was how we presented it as part of our pitch.
Right.
Ms. Bradford, then Dr. Mayor.
Well, based on what Dr. Barnes said, because I was ready to make a motion, it does make sense. But I mean, let's face it, if we were going to ask for $10 million in capital improvements, it's just coming off that. So we'll technically only be asking for, 7.5 now, because this is going to be added to that one. And that's just.
Dr. Mayor.
Yeah, what I'm saying is pretty close to what my colleague was saying. And still, say we wait to put it in with all of our other requests, it will certainly bring down everything else that we could have perhaps gotten. I'm still in favor of asking for it now, because it keeps it current. Look, we saved money, and we need a little bit more, and that seems fair. And then next year, or next April, whenever, when we bring it and say, hey, this is our capital requests, it's separate. If we wait till April, it will absolutely get bundled in. It might get bundled in if we do it now, but it might not. And the optics are still, hey, we saved money, we should get something back, rather than, oh, we'll just wait and then ask for, because when we had, $630 million that we wanted to ask for in terms of what we needed, we settled for 320. We're always going to get less than what we need. Why not ask for it?
Well, actually, I'm just going to echo what both of them said. And so I would highly recommend that, since it was her point a minute ago, that Ms. Bradford go ahead and take a motion.
I have a question first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Respectfully to what some of my colleagues are talking about, we did submit the request. This request was submitted and they discussed it February 3rd because we did have the savings. So our board in February said, let's approve this to be sent to the county. So we already did. I understand that maybe if we submit it again, there's an opportunity that they can reevaluate their budget. So I would not necessarily be opposed to discussing that, but this board has already submitted the request because we did that at this last board meeting. So I just want to point that out. Thank you.
Mrs. Bedford?
My question would be for Dr. Morgan, were you able in your written request to explain that this was an underground tank and a lift station, and if it were to breach further, that we'd have the containment of cleaning up, you know, a hazardous spill? Do they understand that? Because if we wait and we put it in April, you're right, it's gonna be June or July. And we know if a tank's going, a tank's going. And sometimes you can't detect it anyway. And it's a whole lot more money if there's a spill there than if we just take it out while it's intact.
I agree.
But did you
I
explain
agree.
that part? That was my question. Did you explain that
what-
in your written request?
Well, what we submitted to them was what we've submitted to you as well. And so part of it was, in addition to submitting that, was really just conversation with the CFO. So again, Ms. Sutton and I were both at the agenda review for the county board meeting. I was at their monthly meeting. I just didn't have the opportunity to discuss further. I was prepared to, but I didn't get the opportunity. They didn't have questions for me. They voted and moved on.
Mr. Perry?
I'm beginning to think that, yes, we should ask for this again. But somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, the Board of Commissioners has not voted. It's just the CFO has said no. Am I correct in this? So, at this point,
No, the board voted no.
they did vote.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think they had full information.
Was it but you weren't able to give a presentation to the board, were you?
I did not give a presentation to the board. We basically explained it as best we could, sharing it with you. It's very clear in what we submitted that they're underground storage tanks and that they were deferred from previous years.
Dr. Merritt?
I agree with my colleague that we have already, in a sense, submitted the request, but it almost seems procedural. We submitted the request to get it through a certain avenue, and they voted against giving us that money through the avenue of just replacing the money that we saved. They didn't necessarily say, we won't give it to you, but they said, we can't do it this way. We can't take it out of the general fund. This is not an emergency. But I do believe that we could turn around and say, we need this, we don't want it to breach, this is in our best interest, we've saved this money, which fund would you like to give it to us from? And so I would make a motion that we find the best way in working with Dr. Morgan to ask for this money sooner than, and not wait until April.
First and second to
To request funding for this, for the replacement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Prior to me being able to vote appropriately on this, I would like to see where this falls on our priority 1, 2, and 3. Because if we're saying that this is an emergency request, then I expect it to be on the very top of our priority list. Otherwise, I believe that we're trying to circumvent the system, and I cannot make a well-informed decision with this motion today without that information.
So when they voted to not approve that request, it became our number one priority.
So it is. Thank you. Okay.
Dr. Barnes?
It might behoove us, I think, to maybe have me talk to the county manager about what avenues might be available to us, rather than going directly to the commissioners without knowing sort of the framework of it, if that would be appropriate.
Point of order. I don't think that necessarily contradicts the motion before.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
think
you
it
might
does?
go on.
I don't find that as,
If it would please the chairman.
yes, sir.
I would withdraw my motion based on the advice of the superintendent, which I think is wise. I think sometimes we get more in back channel discussions than we do by blunt force voting. So can we put some guidelines on that? By when will that happen, and you know, what can you offer us in terms of how?
Actually, now I have to make a point of order. Once the motion has been made and seconded, it is no longer yours to withdraw.
It actually has to be restated, does it not? The chair has to restate the motion before you can, I mean, once he has, you can't withdraw. But I'm not sure that he's restated
I
it.
have not restated it yet, so it can be withdrawn. So you can go to withdraw.
I'm sorry.
I've already voted or ruled on his motion, but I'm now
Oh, I see.
asking you, because I have not restated.
I didn't realize you hadn't ruled on that. I will withdraw my motion with the expectation that the conversation between our superintendent and Mr. Foudre will take place in the next 2 weeks. How's that? Is that fair?
And I think that is, again, very wise, because we have, this is still on our agenda to discuss at the regular board meeting. So we can bring it back up at that point and make motions if we need to. After hearing
I will
from
think
the
I will have an update from him by then, sir.
Okay, very good, thank you. All right. Any other discussion about this? Hearing none, we will carry on to new business, which is parent organizations, which I did, I guess, allow in afterwards. I did not realize I did that. Oh, how much? Yeah, we probably need some time for this.
For which?
For the old business about the, I would say at least 20 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Don't you think, 20 minutes? For the discussion of modification of previously approved facility capital budget transfer, we'll get a report from our superintendent, which will take some time. I would say 20 minutes.
15 to 20.
And just so that we have like a time breakdown on that, if it's 20 minutes, we have each the opportunity to speak for less than 3 minutes, and even less than that if the superintendent has something to share. So just so that we are aware of the time.
Yeah, I would think, just thinking, that we'd probably give the superintendent, 5 minutes to speak, and then we would each have about 2 minutes to speak. Okay? All right, so we'll say 20 minutes for that. And we will carry on with new business, parent organizations. Dr. Merrick, you
Yeah,
talk about that?
I don't have, I don't want to be such a stickler for rules that we can't bring something sometimes to our meetings that did not meet the deadline, especially if it's something, an emergent need. Seeing as how the superintendent has already addressed this, I don't see it as an emergent need, and I think that it's wise that we stay with our policies, which states that anything that we want to put on the agenda had to be put on by February 13th, and this was submitted on the 17th.
And I definitely hear you on that. I think that is true. It can be added if it needs to be, or we want it to be added at the meeting. So just remind everybody of that. Mr. Perry.
I think that's a good general rule for the 17th, but considering that our actual regular meeting is in 2 weeks from today, I think that we should be able to make exception.
Question. Ms. Jess.
Yeah, and we've had these discussions before in the past about sticking to policy. If we create policy, we need to stick to policy, and the deadline is part of policy. And also, and I might be wrong in this, I had asked for a request to concerning organizations and qualifications to set on them, and I was, go ahead.
I was going to answer that. It was not, there was no second on that little sheet, so.
I thought you seconded it.
You have to submit.
You have to write the thing.
I did.
Yeah, so that's not on the thing.
Well, I put it in there. I guess I didn't follow up to make sure it was on there. That's the first time I've used that form.
That's okay, and like I said, we can add that one too, if we, absolutely, no problem, but there was no second, that's why I didn't add it. I did see it on Friday, like I said, I was out of town.
As I said, that's the first time I've used that form. In fact, I had to hunt down the form. I figured out where it is now permanently, but I guess I missed that button because I thought I had put that he had seconded it. Because we had talked about it.
And like I said, we can definitely add that, at the meeting, if you guys don't mind, because it's not on there now.
Okay, I'll remember to do that.
So what, if I, on a point of inquiry.
Yes, sir.
You're saying that neither my colleague to the right nor my colleague to the left's inclusion into the agenda will be on the agenda unless we add it at the beginning of the meeting.
Right, I think we actually, since this is here, I think we need to vote on this one, and I have no problem with the vote to remove it and then re-add it if you want to. I think that's the wisest way to do it, because again,
That follows policy. Yeah.
And like I said, I'm raising my hand, I did not notice that it was late. So I apologize for that. That's my slip up 100%. Ms. Mason?
It, kind of to the point, when I was, last year when I was chair, that did happen frequently. So just a reminder for board members to make sure that you have that second, make sure you put that in so that it can go on the agenda, because that will delay why it may not be getting on the agenda. So,
That was my
follow
form.
policy.
Oh, I'm going to get over to speaking then. Yes, ma'am?
Respectfully, Mr. Chair, you are able to create the agenda and add whatever you want in addition to what we request. So I don't see any issue. It's on the current draft agenda, and the superintendent has the opportunity to speak to that memo. That was my understanding of the agenda item, just to restate that clarification. We want to continue to maintain strong relationships with our PTOs and PTAs. They are able to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for our district across all the schools every year, and so I have no problem with this being on the agenda. And I think policy also states that we have 2 months, so even if a request is made, it's 2 months to put it on the agenda with that, so thank you.
And I do want to echo, and unfortunately, the county to our north just had a very big situation with a parent organization that was, thousands and thousands of dollars. So I think probably an overarching discussion about that. But maybe one of us would like to make a motion to add the other discussion. We can probably do that right now and just add that as B, and that way we'll satisfy both of us.
I moved to add the other item. I mean, I've had it worded. I can say it. Should I state it again, or?
You state it again.
Okay, to ensure that members of committees and advisory boards also are residents of the county, per both the county commissioners and city council's requirements when they have people assigned to their boards.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There we go. All right. Well, now, at the end of the day, we all played well together. That's good. All right. So we have a motion second to add a committee assignment saying that they have to be residents of New Hanover County for discussion under new business in 2 weeks. We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Barnhart, then Ms. Bradford.
Mr. Chair, mine just comes to a clerical. If Ms. Mason would let us know where we're time. I had written down 10 minutes for the parent organizations, but I don't know how much was allotted for that, where we are in time to add this discussion, because I want to make sure that we have ample time to be able to have that conversation.
Before that, we are at 175 with a bathroom break.
Oh.
175 minutes, sorry.
Does that include call audience?
That includes called audience, yes.
So an hour and...
I've been adding along the way because we don't have policies to cover. Consensus items are very brief.
Okay.
So
So to clarify, if we leave parent organizations, how long do we think, and I'm going to look to Ms. Bradford, since you were the one who brought that up, how long do you think we would need for that?
And Ms. Bernhardt sort of accurately addressed why I asked for this, but when you sit and think about it, I don't know that I could articulate to someone the difference between a parent-teacher organization, a PTO, a booster club, and so on. And how many clubs do we have that are classified as nonprofits? That's all I was asking for. I don't know why there's such opposition to it, but I was just asking for some clarification based on the memo that we got from the superintendent so that I can understand it and I can articulate it. So I don't think it takes that much time at all. I just want to break it down into whatever 503s we got operating under our school, what are they, what do they do? But I have a question about the motion on the floor.
Okay, well, let's get the time so we can have an idea. What do you think about time on that, Dr. Barnes?
The devil's in the details. Like, I can talk about it in 5 minutes. I can write my memo in that amount of time. It's the discussion point that I think is going to be a little more in-depth. I think my purpose for sending that memo to the principals to give to different organizations is because we do have a lot. We have PTAs, we have booster clubs, we have all different groups of people. However, it's important for everyone to have a reflection on policy periodically. So that was the purpose, was to sort of point everybody and highlight policy. So I can do that in as much time as I just took right now.
Okay, so let's say 10 minutes.
Will you bring us a list of what we have?
Yes, we've been working on that list. Haven't we been? Okay.
Thank you.
That will be delivered.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I see this as an internal district issue. The superintendent has addressed it. He has sent information to each of the schools, and the principals deal with their own PTAs and PTOs and booster clubs. It seems to me that bringing it to the board level is maybe outside of our lane. And I am concerned that it gets into a little bit of electioneering on the part of our board.
All right. Well, right now we're leaving on, we're going to vote on each of these separately, but right now we have about 10 minutes for that. And then for Justices, Mr. Perry.
Yeah, just one thing I want to say is as far as I think that Ms. Bradford's discussion is a worthy one to have. I not only have questions on these organizations that were specifically named, the PTAs and boosters, but also, you know, what relationship are we setting, what about other nonprofit organizations that are involved in their schools? And I'm not going to name names, because we've already been called out for that. But we have a bunch of nonprofit groups that work in our schools. Are we giving them restrictions too? So I think this discussion is helpful.
But those are done under an MOU. That's different.
That's a good question, yeah, we do have MOU. Okay, and then for the committee discussion, for keeping the folks to be, you know, in our...
Mr. Chair, we haven't voted on it yet. You haven't had discussion right yet.
I'm just going to get time, and then we're going to vote on each one. Go ahead.
Well, we can say 10 minutes. I don't even think it'll
Okay.
take that long, but better to be safe than sorry, as you
Okay.
pointed out already.
Okay, so I will make a motion that we keep the parent organization discussion on. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, first and second. All in favor of keeping the parent organization discussion for 10 minutes on for 2 weeks from now, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Nay. Okay, that passes 6-1. All in favor of adding
Discussion on adding, please. I've been waiting to discuss adding the other one.
adding a committees, requiring all the committees, all the people. Okay, committee residency requirement. We'll use that.
So I have a concern with that because so many of our committees so many of our teachers don't live in our county. So we're different from the county commissioners in that what we do, and I don't know why we would start searching out who's not a resident in New Hampshire. I can't understand the motive for discussing that. What's the point?
Okay, Ms. Justice?
Well, it's been brought to my attention by people that are on committees and boards that there are people that aren't even residents that are involved. And I'm not talking about our staff. We could have an exemption for staff because staff is staff. And so they're part of our process, and we need them in order to get professional information. But you know, here, and I had no idea this was a problem. This was brought to me by community members who are concerned about people making decisions for our community when they've got a stake in it. So that's where that comes from.
Okay, and I'll be honest, I remember years ago that there was a discussion that the board had many boards ago, I guess it would be now, about even, you know, call an audience. You know, that's why at one point there was discussion maybe having addresses because we had people from all over the state and from other states coming in to talk about our students and really, you know, though that's, you know, okay, I guess, but, you know, really we need to hear from our community about things, so. Okay. Yes, Ms. Barnhart.
I don't dislike having this discussion. I feel it's more appropriate in committee first, though. And so I feel like this should be in policy to discuss about the committee makeups and have that discussion prior to bringing it to the board. So for that reason, I wouldn't be in favor of this board meeting, but I do think it's something that policy should pick up and have a good discussion about, so. Well, a motion's on the floor, so I would move that we refer this discussion to the policy committee.
Second.
Okay, first and second. So, any discussion on that, on the motion to refer?
I think, I was torn when I first put this on here. I'm going, should this go to policy first? And that's why we're doing this now, because this is exactly, yes.
All right, without any other discussion, All in favor of referring
Oh, yep, community residence requirement.
to policy, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 7-0. Back to the other discussion, parent organization, because it was brought in after the time. All in favor of having that discussion in 2 weeks?
We already voted on
Already
that.
did that.
We already
did
did
that.
one?
Yes.
How old am I again? Am I?
We did time on it.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
No, we voted on adding it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because I don't think it needs 10 minutes.
I feel bad.
All right, well, I guess then we're done. Yeah.
Amen.
Pete needs some sugar or something, I don't know. All right, I need my computer to pop up.
I'd like to make a,
Move to adjourn?
No.
I'd like to make a motion that we have a 5-minute recess before closed session.
Well, let's go ahead and go to closed session, then we can,
We're not finished.
No, we have to go back to
We have talk about the-
information.
oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so, let's finish this up. So we have closed session if needed. Again, we won't know that until we get done with our closed session today. Personnel report, correspondence of 5 minutes, announcements of 5 minutes, and adjournment.
You gotta read that letter.
What do we
from
have?
correspondence. A letter from
We won't know if it's in 2 weeks. though.
Remember, this is-
Yeah, we may have something between now and then.
This is for the future.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
good. You should read it
Madam
out
Vice
loud.
Chair, how long do we have?
So I added in about 10 minutes for the opening stuff because I don't always calculate that in. But with all of that and a 5-minute break, we are at 3.42, so just under 3.5 hours.
Okay.
Just under, but that also means we have to make sure we're not talking more than.
You got a break in there?
Yeah, breaking there and everything.
Cool.
3:42.
Good
Very
job.
good. Go us. Woo-hoo. All right. All right. Well, is that, any other discussion about our proposed agenda items? Hearing none. We will now move to our closed session for today, and I will entertain a motion to go to closed session pursuant to general.
You're skipping information?
We're skipping information and new business.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm just so excited to go to closed session, I guess. All right, so we've done that. So information, we have NCSBA legislative information. Ms. Bradford, you brought this forward, so please.
No, I didn't. I think she did.
It says right here, so Pat Bradford, I'm reading. But anyway, okay, Ms. Barnhart, would you like to share that, please? with
I
us?
seconded it. She brought the
Okay.
motion.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had forwarded you an email that I received from Bruce from NCSBA saying that if we would like to submit somebody to allow to be nominated to apply to be on their legislative committee creation team, that has to be submitted before the end of March. And so this was just a discussion to bring it to our attention that if we wanted to nominate somebody that could even apply, so this is not even saying that they would be on the legislative committee, just to say, yes, we are going to allow one person to submit and be nominated. 2 years ago, I did submit an application and was chosen to serve on the legislative creation committee making. What we did was we collectively came together through the state. There's 3 dates they put up here, being in Raleigh on July 20th, being in Raleigh on September 14th, and there's a virtual meeting on October 7th, all of this year, to just create the survey. And so those of you who've served on the board, you know that NCSBA sends out a survey to every single Board of Educations across the state, just for us to see what is most concerning to us. And so what this committee did is we took in the information that was collected from the survey, and anything that was an overwhelming majority, we created as the legislative agenda items for the School Boards Association, which was then a draft that was approved by the delegates at the fall meeting. So that is the purpose of me bringing it to attention, if we wanted to give somebody the opportunity to apply for that committee, so.
Does anybody have interest in serving?
Well,
Justice?
you said until March, we have until March to submit.
So the
In the
person would have,
Not the
it
March
says-
is-
Yes, and so the person would have to be nominated by our board, and then that person, whoever is nominated, would have to submit an application before the end of March to be on this committee. Yes.
So maybe we should add this to our regular meeting, even though we just finished that, we can go back to it. And that way we can vote on, we have a vote and nominate somebody, because I think we should have
Yeah,
somebody.
I think that's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion that we add to new business, a discussion and vote for the NCSBA Legislative Committee.
Second.
You second, thank you. Any discussion?
I think we just had it.
Well, I think we did too. I agree with it. Yes, sir.
I
Barrett?
would suggest that we limit it to 8 minutes so that we can get it to.
No, it would need to be 5 minutes to
5
keep
minutes.
it under, because right now we're at 3 hours and 25 minutes.
Okay. All right, so it'll be 5 minutes. All in favor of that discussion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. That carries 7-0. Now, if I am correct, hopefully, for the first time today, we're going to move on to new business. I don't see any. Do
We have one.
Oh,
We
yes, we
added
did.
one.
We added it. Yep, we added it, so.
Wow.
I got to refresh. I didn't refresh. It's right there.
Your brain?
Yeah, that too.
I was contacted by an outside organization a month or two ago. It's titled LifeWise. LifeWise? Mhm. It is a organization that works with churches to do periodic Bible study with students. It is an off-campus event. Students will be transported there's parent permission. The students 1 day a week would be transported from, right now, elementary school to the church during an elective period, not during core instruction, and be transported back. They would generally go 1 day a week for about half an hour. I have checked the general statute, and it is allowable, so long as the board understands that this is a curriculum. It's not a random fly-by-night thing. It's being done in other parts of the district. However, when I spoke with the organizer, I told her that I would need to have this be an MOU officially with the board, simply because that's the way we do our business here. But before I went and started exploring MOUs and ways and means and things like that, I wanted the board to be aware of it. My only stipulation, I told this to the LifeWise people, that this door is either open or it's closed, right? If the board chooses to have me do the work, bring you an MOU, gets approved, et cetera, that would mean that other organizations would also have the ability to submit this as well if it's a different faith-based organization. So for that being the case, I wanted to make sure you guys were aware before I sort of put in the work to build an MOU and look at the logistics of it. I wanted you guys to know.
I'm going to start with questions. I see a lot of questions, but I'm going to start with questions. So it would be our buses?
No.
So there, and how about the liability?
They have liability. They would assume that would be part of the MOU. They would assume the liability.
Okay. Ms. Barnhart, Dr. Merritt, and Justice.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So it's my understanding that parents would be opting into this.
Correct.
Like, this is not something that the school is saying, we are offering it, because we are not.
No, we are
As a school
not.
system, we are not. Okay, I think that's a very, thank you for that clarity.
Dr. Merritt, Ms. Justice.
Actually, I'm all in favor of additional education, even Bible study, as long as it's not taking place on school grounds, that we're not paying or underwriting it, and I do not believe it should take place during school hours. It would need to be after school, because I think the disruption of taking a child out of class and bringing them back to class, it just breaks the consistency. And it's not, I think it's a slippery slope when we start taking time out of our school day for outside curriculum.
Ms. Justice?
I would like to echo most of what he just said, and saying that I lived through the 90s when we tried this, and it was not successful during the school day. In fact, there was a big uproar, and there were problems with other groups trying to come in and doing the same thing. And so that's why it works very well when it's after the school hours. I'm just being realistic here, because everything else works well. It's not on school grounds. They can't pay for the transportation. The parents opt in. But there's a lot of organizations out there. You'll be surprised that will come out and request the same thing, and then it just gets very confusing and almost, it's just counterproductive.
Ms. Bassett and Mr. Perry.
Do we have other organizations doing something like this now, going out for an elective period?
No.
And then,
The closest thing I would equate it to is, I have a class at CFCC, but that is a part of their transcript in some So this would be a new avenue we haven't explored before.
Uh-huh.
Schools and schools, yeah.
And
I mean, that's an approved MOU
I know,
that we use,
it's-
but that
it's
is,
an extracurricular that we take them off out of school during the school day, and I think it's been a successful program, so
Sure.
I'm just curious. Sorry.
well, I'm not done. I have two more questions. And you said it was a curriculum. Does the curriculum, have any, is it approved somewhere by some entity? Is it,
not a school entity, no.
but it's a national curriculum? You said it's been doing somewhere else?
Yeah, it is a wide-ranging program.
Okay.
Mr. Perry?
I actually think Ms. Bradford asked the question I wanted to know, which was whether there are any other organizations who currently take our students out during these times. You're saying, no, that doesn't happen right now.
Anything that happens is an MOU, like Rules and Schools is a good example, but that is a sort of a short-term, isolated time frame. This is sort of going to continue to go on its own.
Ms. Bradford?
Is there any other county in our region that's doing it now?
Yes, Onslow County is engaging in this now. They are not doing an MOU, but I'm going to follow
Yeah.
things as close as I can. I think this is one that would be better suited through an MOU.
Did it just start, or has it been underway for a while? Do we have a track record we can look at?
There is a superintendent in the western part of the state. I have not been able to reach that person yet, but it is up and running in a couple of other places.
And let me, and I'll get Ms. Barnhart into that. Totally understand. What you're asking, or you're proposing here is to investigate this, you're not asking for a vote right now on.
Correct. Quite frankly, we're, how many days before testing? 77. 80, whatever. Testing is coming. I don't really want to divide my focus without you guys kind of saying, we'd like to know more, right? Like I'm not going to put the effort into building an MOU. If you guys are kind of like, now's not the time, I'm going to put that effort into another space.
Would that be for this year or for the future?
It would be for next year.
Next year, okay. Ms. Barnhart?
You were getting at what I was going to echo, was right now, are you looking for the idea of explore this idea some more before it gets brought back? And I'm fine with doing that. I do think there were some good things in discussion brought up for us to consider, but
And to echo my colleague over there's idea, we had something similar at North Hopsville. We had, one day a week, they would come with the buses at the end of the school day and pick up the children and carry them on to a church and do that kind of thing. But it wasn't during, I do see some concerns, maybe possibly, okay, you got to get, who's going to get them to the bus, to get on the bus and get off the bus and come back from school. And that's a lot more managerial than just, okay, you go on this bus one day a week, so.
Yeah, my two concerns focused on both legal and logistical. The legal, it is approved in general statute. Logistically would be my continued concern to know that that's not going to disrupt the school day, it's not going to disrupt student instruction. Those are things that I would have to investigate a little further.
So, with that said, I would move that we ask the superintendent to explore the logistics of it further and come back to us with a report in his time, not ours, to either know what we're looking at or not. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, so I move that we go forward with him examining what the logistics would look like, because I can't make up a decision without knowing the logistics of anything.
I'll second that.
First and second. Perry?
You see Bible study. I guess I want to know whether this is a prayer group that with a Bible study up into these two, or is this like literally a class on the Bible? I've taken classes on the Bible at a college level. I have a minor in biblical studies, so I know what that looks like, but it's a little bit different than a Bible study. So, which is it?
Right. Well, when I was growing up, they called it catechism, but
If you Google it, Lifewave Academy, it has some information.
yeah, I will pull that all together for you guys. I just wanted to give you, and then watch my team not make eye contact so I can't delegate it to anyone. I will bring you back let me bring you back a little more information. Like I said, I just didn't want to dig into it. Focus, people.
All right.
No,
All in
Julia said
favor
we were-
of Ms.
Get more info.
Bradford's motion to ask the superintendent to do more research and bring back an MOU for us to discuss?
On his time.
On his time.
Or
Or Julie's time, whichever.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. That passes 7-0. Again, I'm still up here, I'm gonna say that we have no new business, so we are now at closed session.
Are you sure?
I don't know, that's what I was just going, I was looking around waiting for somebody
It's
to
very
come along
possible
again.
we are.
Okay, I'm finally here. I finally arrived. All right, I would entertain a motion to go to closed session pursuant.
For all those reasons.
I'm sorry.
So moved.
Yeah, pursuant to General Statute 143, 318-1 for the following purposes. 1, to prevent disclosure of information as privileged or confidential pursuant to General Statute 115C 402 and not considered a public record within the meaning of Chapter 132 of General Statutes. Prevent disclosure of student records confidential under under FERPA. To consult with the attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the board, and to consider qualifications, competence, performance, character, fitness, conditions of employment, conditions of initial employment or of an individual employed or considered for employment within the school system, or to hear or investigate a complaint, charge, or grievance by or against any individual employee. Do I hear such a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of moving into closed session, please
Aye.
signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Guys, let's be there at 3:25. Give you a nice break. 3:25. Ready to go. Yeah, 3:25.
I was wondering.
I'm assuming it's me. You started the other ones and it, I'm going
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Passes 7-0. Ms. Bradford, you have a motion.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I move that we approve the settlement negotiated by the insurance company, Netherland Insurance Company, in the John Doe's 15 through 17 cases and New Hanover County Schools.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 7-0. Great. Last thing on our agenda for today, please remember we will not be meeting next week.
Yay.
We'll be meeting in 2 weeks, so good luck to everyone who's running next week.
Indeed.
Oh, we gotta do the whole thing over, I forgot to turn myself on. Okay, we will go again, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Is there a second?
Second?
Second.
First and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. Okay, we're 6-1, we passed, we are adjourned. Thank you. I just.